you curse? Probably not. Okay. I'd be like, hey, welcome to my apartment. I would describe my style as if a wildly homosexual kindergartner had access to a credit card. I mean, there's cubbies in the bedroom. This couch is obviously a lot. In addition to, like, you know, queer culture, and obviously this apartment is very gay, so that has always inspired me. Like, this is my first place basically that I'm not living with a roommate, and just having that agency to do that is inspiring to me. Like 5 years ago, if you told me I'd be living in like my own space, filled with my own stuff, and not going from sublet to sublet to sublet, like I would have been like, are you drunk? You know, I published my first book and I was published in the New Yorker, all these things I'm incredibly proud of, but I think giving myself this home is, and working really hard and buying everything with my own money that I made myself has been such a monumental achievement for me. And it's something that every day I walk in here and I'm like, I did this for myself, and it feels very safe and it feels like home. So first thing you see when you walk into the apartment is the kitchen. I immediately wanted the personality to be smacking you in the face the second you walk in. This is the living room. It's where I waste many hours watching mindless television and sending stupid memes. After having just like a shitty couch after shitty couch after shitty couch, it was really important for me to invest in good quality furniture. Even though I'm inches away from the kitchen, I still want the living room to feel like it's its own space. Yeah, so a lot of books, and then the iridescent tables, I love them so much. I've never been one to do like arts and crafts. I'm like, I don't want to glue popsicles together, when's lunch? So this is Ramona Quimby. Yeah, my favorite brat. As a kid, I was always emotional, always crying, always throwing a temper tantrum. And I feel like Ramona validated that for me because she was not shy with showing her emotions, having tantrums, being messy. One of my indulgent purchases is a signed first edition of Ramona the Pest. And in a shadow box right next to it is a copy of my own rag. So I don't know what was going through my mind. So sorry to Queen Beverly Cleary up in heaven now, but I still treasure you all the same. Oh, I'm a firm proponent of recreational negativity. You know, I live with chronic illness and pain, and you know, sometimes complaining is great. Like I know people say like, oh, I don't like to be around people that complain too much. To those folks who do like to complain, you have a home with me. It's just sometimes you just wanna just sit with your friend in the trenches and just like sigh. It's a way of coping. So this is the bedroom. This place I think is my favorite to spend time in because it's just so bright and airy in here, and it's such a stark departure from what I'm used to living in. I never ever would have had a balcony, so that for me is like the definition of opulence. Like I can just sit outside and at a little cafe table, so I'm trying to enjoy every second of it because who knows. So it wasn't until I moved to New York that I even had an inkling of a book. I moved into my first apartment. I lived in East Harlem, such a small room, like still have a twin size bed, the same twin size bed from my childhood bedroom that has traveled with me and has literally grown up with me, except I grew up and it didn't. And I started sort of writing just like funny stories, vignettes about growing up closeted in central New Jersey and sort of growing up again in New York City, the world of New York City nightlife. And it's a very flamboyant, brazen world. And I started befriending people with names like Breedlove and Lady Starlight and, you know, all these folks that are also, in a way, are performing as characters because, you know, my name is Greg Mania, but my nickname is Greg Mania. Those two worlds collided when I wrote about them colliding. As much as I felt like a rock star going out at like 20, 21, I was still, you know, dealing with a lot of anxiety and insecurity because it wasn't that long ago that I was being shoved into lockers for being, for being gay in middle school. So I was still trying to reconcile these different identity markers. Someone who is queer, someone who doesn't fully identify as male but not as female, but maybe isn't non-binary but maybe is. So all these different elements I'm trying to reconcile, and I realized that duality, as Greg Mania and Greg Mania, I'm like, I don't have to separate them. It's kind of like the yin yang, that these elements exist within each other. And it wasn't until I put this book out and I was revising this book and editing this book that the duality became totality, and finally was able to understand myself as someone that's always changing. I mean, identity is frenetic. It's not supposed to be neat or put into a box. It's ever changing. My favorite thing that a book can do is you feel like you're with a friend and you're having like that late night patio conversation. Maybe there's an empty bottle of wine or two. When writing Born to Be Public, I really wanted to convey the spirit of the late night conversations I would have with my closest friends throughout the years, and a conversation that you didn't know that you had to have, but you're glad you did. For me, home is kind of about things. Home for me is like where I know my favorite book is. Home for me is a painting that my friend made for me. I was obsessed with the Volkswagen New Beetle as a kid. Like every other teenage girl, I wanted like a pink Volkswagen convertible, except yellow, obviously. I was obsessed with like the switchblade key that the New Beetle had in the 2000s. So as an adult, I don't have Volkswagen Beetle, but I can go on eBay and get this little key for $5. And I did, as like a little nod to my younger self, be like, at least you have the key now. So it's like the things that I have in my house that makes it feel like home. I can always get a new toaster or a new Smeg coffee machine or what have you, but I can't replace the things that truly make my home feel like home.